Good afternoon. Today I have the opportunity to introduce our speaker, Michael Biggerstaff, who is the Chief Inspiration Officer of Nxtbook Media. You would better know this position as CEO. As one of the owners of Nxtbook Media, Michael has 24 years of company ownership in Lancaster community. Michael and two others owned Reprint Management Services until they sold the company in 2007 to focus solely on Nxtbook Media, which they started in 2003. Michael's led Nxtbook Media through many company awards. These include being named twice to the list of Inc. 500's fastest growing privately owned companies in the United States, the Ethics in Business Award from Samaritan Counseling, and in the last 6 years, Nxtbook Media has been in the top 3 best places to work in PA. Michael attended Stephens College and received an associate's degree in graphic arts. He also attended F&M to attain his bachelor's degree in business. In 2009, the Lancaster Chamber named Michael the Small Business Person of the Year. Michael lives in Lancaster with his 4 children and has been involved in the local community for 25 years. Through his avid love of soccer, he's coached numerous teams for a total of 22 years. And he's also been the president of the Twin Valley Soccer Club for 6 years, and he loves to watch his favorite team, Manchester United, which I'm sure Pat will be happy to hear about. So please help me welcome Michael Biggerstaff.
Thank you so much. You'll be happy to know I have a timer up here that I brought. So I am thinking about that, and I did get a lot of points when we talked about Manchester United, so that was a good thing. When Courtney first called me about a month ago, she said, hey, can you help me out? Rock Lidditz is supposed to come and speak, and they're not able to because they're busy. So I thought, well, you know, there were many people busy, but sure, I'll help. And we hung up. And I thought, wow, that's really weird. She wants me to talk about Rock Lidditz. I thought, well, I work it a lot. I talk about stuff I have no idea about, so I'm pretty good at it. So, okay, I'll talk about Rock Lidditz. So I'm downstairs waiting for her, and I hear people upstairs like, I can't wait to hear the Rock Lidditz guy speak. And somebody says, oh no, he's not coming. It's somebody from Nxtbook. And, well, actually, Nxtbook. Who's that? Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know either. So I thought, boy, I've got a lot of work to do in 20 minutes. So, if I could have hands, please, a show of hands. Anybody ever heard of Nxtbook or know anything about Nxtbook in the crowd? Raise your hand really high so I know I got a lot of work to do. Okay. Basically, what we're going to talk about a little bit today is culture and creativity in the workplace at Nxtbook. So, I'm also hoping that my eyes are going to be able to see my slides. I think they are, but I'm not sure about you guys in the back. So, we'll give it a try. Basically, who is Nxtbook? What I've done there is there's a couple of pictures about the space, because I think the space that we're in adds a little bit to the creativity and the culture, but unfortunately, due to my lack of time, I really can't go into the space too much, except for the thing on the left. You can see that is a glider hanging from the ceiling of our space. We have 20-foot ceilings, and there's actually a glider that's hanging there for no other reason than it's cool. So I think that sometimes there's nothing wrong with just kind of like looking at things in kind of a different way, not making them so specific and so structured. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Nxtbook. Our vision statement is exist to inspire. Our values are service, collaboration, influence, integrity, creativity, excellence, and passion. Those values, those 7 values, are part of our conference rooms. It just so happened we have 7 conference rooms, so each one of the conference rooms is named after our values. The important part of that is that it stayed, like everybody understands, this is who we are as a company. This is who we are and what we do as a company. That's the mission statement. I'm not going to read it, but it has some highlighted words like inspire the community, creative potential, model business, superior results, collaboration, things like that. Those are really important elements of who we are as a company. And again, you know, by having mission statement, values, vision, it's really important to tie us together as a company so that when we're making decisions, we can question ourselves and say, well, does this kind of fit us and who we are? As Courtney mentioned, we have won a few awards over the years. Most important to us are the Ethics in Business Award we received from the Samaritan Counseling Center in Lancaster. We also won the Best Places to Work Award. Well, we were a recipient, and those are our rankings. So we were number 1 3 years. This past year, we were number 2, and then we have a couple of years of number 3. We'll find out in the beginning of December where we rank this year. But we're really proud of that because that's really the way this program works. 25% of it comes from the employer. We tell what we do, who we are, why we are the way we are. And then 75% comes from a survey from the employees. So it's really employees saying what they think about Nxtbook Media. And that's why it's such a proud award for us, for me in particular, to win and to be up there. The biggest reward is the culture. A great culture makes it easy to do the right things and impossible to do the difficult things. And I think that's really important to remember. When you have a great culture, you can get a lot of things accomplished. You can do the right things, and that's pretty easy. Well, it depends on the culture, but sometimes that's easy, but for us it's really easy. But more importantly, to do the difficult things, when you have to do something hard as a company, it makes it possible. I'm going to talk something about that in a second. Okay, so this is a little story about Nxtbook, and it looks like a Paul Davis commercial, but I swear it's not. With what happened a couple of years ago, we were in a 2-story building there. On the second floor was the kitchen. Well, we have a water fountain. Why? Because the city makes us. And in the water fountain in the second floor, a valve popped off on a Sunday morning, and it just spewed water for a long time until it sunk into the first floor drop ceiling, and the ceiling started to collapse. Okay, so you can imagine how much water we had. So the kitchen was right above the reception area, and what we had to do was replace the floor, repaint, all those kinds of things. So we had a situation where we needed to replace the floor. It was a cork floor, and in that process, a painter said, you know, you guys are so creative, why don't you just paint on the floor since you're going to replace it anyway? Why don't you just paint on the floor? So we did, and we came up with that. That's like a picture of the floor. And basically what we did is we had everybody come up and do whatever they wanted on the floor. The unfortunate part was once it was done, we had to tear it up. And I really regret that. If I had it to do over again, we would have just left the floor. But the point being, you know, there are opportunities to be creative in a company, but a lot of times they're missed for a variety of reasons. Biggest reason is we're so busy. Don't have time to be creative. You've got to move on to the next thing. I think that's one of the things that we do really well is we stop and take the time to be creative. Then when the floor was done, we actually made a poster out of the floor, out of the drawings that was on the floor. And I'm going to talk to you about our sabbatical program. So we have a sabbatical program at Nxtbook Media that if you're at Nxtbook for 5 years, you get to take 2 weeks off in a row. They have to be in a row. After 10 years, you get to take 4 weeks, and after 15 years, you take 4 weeks and you get $5,000 to travel. That's in addition to all vacation and everything, and again, it has to be together, because what we're trying to do is get you to recharge your batteries, be able to do that and that kind of thing. But also what we do is we take an opportunity to have some fun with it. So you can see there's somebody that was on sabbatical, and they're getting ready to come back. And the funniest part to me, okay, so it was an outline of a body, but you could tell it was a female because she has heels on. But the point being, what we do is we take opportunities like this. This coworker is the cleanest neat freak you've ever seen in your life. So what we did was we took this, we made a postcard out of it, gave the postcard to every employee, and said, please send this to Alicia while she's on vacation, while she's on her sabbatical, and letting her know, like, oh, things have gone really awry since she's been gone. So that's what that was. Well, then what we did was we had allegedly a professional cleaning company come in, clean her space, and sanitize it and wrap it. Now, of course, we didn't do that. The employees did all that, but they wrapped everything in shrink wrap, including leaves on a plant and things like that. The last 2 weeks while she was gone, that was like a project. You know, you just come and wrap something for like 2 minutes and go off and do your thing. You know, it was a break. Let's go wrap something in Alicia's cubicle. One of the things that we have as a company is titles. Okay, like you saw, I'm Chief Inspiration Officer, and it's really because that's what I do. I try to inspire our troops on a day-to-day basis. Some days I'm better at it than others, but I know that that's a part of my job. Those are some of the other titles, just a few random titles. So when you start at Nxtbook Media, we don't give you a title. We don't say, okay, this is who you are. You think about it for a while, and you come back and you say, you know, based on what I know about the job, this is what I want to be called. And then when you're called that, a couple of things happen. First of all, if I'm the uptime preservationist, which is one of our IT guys, he has to keep the computers up and running all the time because of what we do. It's his job to keep them up and running, and it says so. Secondly, when we're out and about and we give somebody a card, I give them my card. Oh, cool title. Or right away, we've got an icebreaker. We start talking about, well, what does that mean, Chief Inspiration Officer? Tell me more about that. So it's really an opportunity to connect with people as well. Here's what I think a great culture does for you, or at least what it does for Nxtbook Media. It attracts talent. When we have a position to fill, we rarely run an ad unless it's a really specific thing. Most of our positions, we've got plenty of resumes. People say, hey, I want to come work for you. It's all part of being the best place to work. You know, people coming and taking tours of our facility, knowing about Nxtbook, and that kind of thing. The second thing, they want to stay. That's just as important as wanting to come. They may want to come, but once they get there, what if they didn't want to stay? That would be a problem, you know, but fortunately we don't have that problem because, again, the culture helps out so much there. Engages people. Our people are highly engaged in what they do, and that's at all levels, and again, it's because of the culture. It creates an energy within the company. When we have people come for tours and come and meet our folks for a variety of reasons, one of the big things they say is like, I can't believe the energy in this place. And it's not because we run around on roller skates or something like that. We don't, by the way. But it's because there's just an energy in the company because we really work hard and like what we do and are really involved in it. It creates momentum. It provides creativity. Work's not work. There's collaboration, and it allows us basically to be more successful. So those are all really important things in this process that, you know, our culture enables us to do. A positive culture makes changes easier. Okay, so this is something that, you know, I was talking about. So I'll get into we use the slogan 135. One company, 3 areas of expertise, 5 revenue streams. Okay, so up until about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, what Nxtbook Media did was we made software. So remember that over here. here. When you're ready, when you're done in college and you want to come and work for somebody that makes software, we make software right here in Pennsylvania. We create software that makes pages flip on your computer, on your iPad, on your iPhone, on tablet devices in general. So anybody that's read a magazine online, it's either a Nxtbook product or one of our competitors, but the point being, we have to do that. So we've been doing that for a lot of years. We're in our 12th year now. So about 2.5 years ago, we thought, okay, it's time for us to diversify. In creating Nxtbooks, we have about 1.5 million books that are read on a monthly basis, and about 45 million pages that are read on a monthly basis. About 40% of those are read internationally. So we have to have a system that's up and running 24/7, 365, all around the world, and we have that. So what we decided to do was we would look at 3 strategic pieces to kind of open up. One was technical solutions. Okay, so technical solutions was digital software solutions. And that's what we've been doing all along, from making pages turn. But then we thought, okay, so we do a great job keeping our IT services up and running. So how about if we open that up to the community and work with people in the community? So we now do that. And then we also have those software developers in Lancaster that we use. We have a dozen. So we thought, well, we should do some custom software development. So, when you think about that, like here we are a company doing one thing, and we decide we're going to do other things. In my opinion, the best thing that came from that was the fact that we had a great culture, and we had the ability to do those things because of that culture. If we didn't have a great culture and we said, hey, we want to do some other things, we want to diversify our revenues a little bit, go in some other directions, you get all kinds of, you can't do that, I'm not paid for that, that's not my job description, I just do this. All those things that you hear sometimes. The fortunate part is we don't hear it next book. Second thing, back to the 3, the second of the 3 is brand management. We do strategic services for companies' brands. And that would be including looking at the brands, we do websites, write white papers, do anything we can to help them get their message out into their communities of influence and get their customers involved in knowing who they are. And then finally, workplace leadership and culture and creativity consulting. Okay, so you saw what we do as a company, so we thought, we do a lot of great things from a culture standpoint. We could really help other companies. So we go out and we help other companies and say, hey, I really think you could help us with this. And we go through that. So the point being, here we are a company that does one thing, create the software, and now we're a company that does 5 things, and it's all about our culture. So what I want you to really think about from this is you have to know where your culture is before you start to change, because a lot of people say, well, our culture is not really what I want it to be. So, okay, so what is it? Well, I'm not really sure, but it's just not what I want it to be. Okay, so one of the things that you really have to spend some time on is figuring out where your culture is. You also have to know where you want to go with your culture. Okay, so it's at point A, where's point B, and then, try to figure out the plan to get it there. Culture is definitely worth spending time on because it gives us a lot of opportunities as a company to do a lot of different things. And culture change takes time. You can't do something to change culture quickly. It changes over time. It can go from good to bad over time. It can go from bad to good over time. But it takes that time to make that happen. So you have to realize that. And finally, every new hire changes the culture to some degree. So you have to remember that as a company. Every person that comes on board is going to have some impact on the culture, and you have to be cognizant of that as you go along. So I think that based on my projection here, I have 3 minutes for questions. So this is something normally I would talk about for about an hour or so.